And so what kind of problems are you guys tackling today in your business? Is it the same as you were doing when you first started, or have you shifted? Have you transitioned, pivoted? Yeah.
So we never pivoted. I always feel like disingenuous when I use the word pivot, because I feel like that's one of those cool words that like people in Silicon Valley use, and I'm this like nerd from New York who just happened to start a company. But I actually can say I think we didn't pivot. Like we started the company, as I said, because we were frustrated with what it took to get stuff out of the conceptual laboratory phase into the hands of patients who were going to benefit from it, into the hands of physicians who were going to use these things as tools. And that literally has not changed in 2 decades. What has changed is what we were just talking about, kind of the field of play that all of our activities were in. And so back then, the internet wasn't a thing. And our hypothesis was that the internet was going to be infrastructure that would be basically guaranteed, and we could float on top of that and create this environment where people could collaborate and research. And we, for the first decade of the company, we connected all the, I'll just shorthand it as professionals who were in clinical research, the doctors who were administering experimental therapies to patients, the nurses and administrators working on their staff, the scientists and the data managers, and everybody at the biotechs and the pharmas and the medical device companies. Anybody who woke up and their job was research, we connected them on the internet. And then I'll tell you, there was a literal day when I was listening to Steve Jobs give a speech at an Apple conference, and we were like, wow, that stuff around connecting all the professionals and the internet being guaranteed to be there, that's going to happen to everybody. Everybody's going to have one of these iPhone things. And we realized we could start to now connect what's really the most important constituency of people in research, the patients themselves who are volunteering for these studies. We could connect them. But it was always to the same end. How can we make sure that something is safe, effective, prove quickly that it's useful, and then get out to the world? And then, so we floated on the internet, we floated on mobile, and then we, in the same vein of like floating, and I don't mean this in kind of a self-congratulatory way. I also feel like we still have a huge amount of work to do. But then fast forward another 5 years, so about 6 years ago, we realized like Medidata is a thing. Like, what can we float on top of this network of professionals and patients who are all collaborating and working on research projects? And actually, so I have this book coming out, The Patient Equation. You know, what is that about? Well, it's about not just what we do at Medidata, but what can you float on top of data? And what we started to do is think about using artificial intelligence and machine learning, and frankly, stuff just curating data in a better way, so we could float other techniques on top of all the things that were already flowing through our platform. It would, again, same mission, help get things into the hands of patients, help get new tools into the hands of physicians that were better than what was out there before.
Yeah, so you're utilizing the patient, or not patient, but research data, all the different data that you have from Medidata,
yep.
and leveraging that to improve patient outcomes.
Yeah, and not just in Medidata, but around Medidata as well. So, you know, we may be doing the majority of research projects on our platform, but that doesn't mean we're doing them all, right? So there's data that's coming from other places, and there's research, and there's the treatment of patients outside of research projects. And yeah, it's not the same kind of controlled experiment, but that doesn't mean you can't use that data in a scientifically responsible and a regulatory compliant way as well. So we really now try to think about how we can float ourselves on top of the whole world of research and medicine.
Yeah.
And again, we're not going to solve every problem. We're not going to do everything, but we feel like we can do a lot of things to help people basically get from hypothesis to evidence showing that something is going to be valuable, is going to be safe and effective, or hopefully is versus isn't, but get there as quickly as possible. And that I think is an extension of the remit that we started with, even when it was just limited to the pure research world.